Welcome everybody.
Y'all ready for this?
The Hustle. My name is Steve Aramopoulos, and these are my co-hosts.
I'm Talia.
And I'm Tech Luciano. You may have heard me on radio, you may have never heard of me at all, but that's okay.
Cause y'all gon' learn today. Your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle. This is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle. Under pressure, never break a fold. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now, welcome to the hustle.
Welcome back, everybody, to another glorious episode of the Hustle Podcast, episode 23. And today we have a very special guest that's going to give us a musical treat to start off the episode with, Jesse Stone Creatchman. Welcome, brother. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, Steve and Talia. This song is called East River. I moved to New York a couple years ago. I was there for 2 years, and the first year I spent in Manhattan. The second year, I went down to Brooklyn and I ended up in Bushwick. And Bushwick's like a little Puerto Rican neighborhood.
I love Bushwick. I've been there before.
Yeah. Food trucks, weekends, electronic stores.
It's a vibe. New York is a vibe.
It sure is. Stepping out the gates of Myrtle, Brooklyn, got a new pair of shoes. I get my kicks on Knickerbocker, where everything comes in twos. Call me Poppy, my neighbors do. I'm out on the curbside, smoking Lucy with the Queen of Manhattan Avenue. You never know where the train gonna stop, where the wind gonna blow on your way to the top, where Puerto Rican mama be serving up guava and sweet papaya. When the feeling is gone, the clock keeps ticking. Maria's on the third floor, cooking chicken. The morning is noon, noon is alright. The reggaeton thumps and bumps. And when the light turns red, don't even bother, because the cops don't stop, and the train's underwater. Woo! Rolling dice, spinning rims, the cash deposits and broken limbs. Our deals just keep on coming, because the cops don't stop for nothing. Crooked street signs, Spanish headlines, busted taillights, shots of twilight. Haven't got a new name under the shade of the M train. If you leave it on the curb, then it goes to the shop. They can chop it up quicker than soda go pop. But when tea comes down, don't look him up, he won't tell you twice. Yeah, she wears it in braids and she wears it in clips. She sells it in the alley when it's hot on the strips. She treats you real nice if you give her a tip. Don't push your luck. And when the light turns red, don't even bother, because the cops don't stop, and the train's underwater. Hop the turnstile. 60-mile ride. East River. She didn't know who it was when she answered the door. She wasn't sure because she never seen me before. I give her everything she needs and a little bit more. And now life is ripe for the picking, and my man Guyo's on the third floor kicking. We keep him up until the sun comes up. And when the light turns red, don't even bother, because the cops don't stop, and the train's underwater. Hop the turnstile. It's 60-mile ride. East River.
Woo! Fucking fantastic, man.
I had like a proud mama moment during that. You mean
Proud mama?
me and Steve were both like pulling out our phones. We're like,
It was something that we haven't had on this podcast yet.
Yeah.
And you really fucking just set the bar right now for anybody else coming in here with an instrument. I'm telling you right now.
Y'all need to pull up.
That was
and do that.
was phenomenal,
Well,
Jesse.
I will say, if anyone's having a proud mama moment, it's my mama.
Shout out to his mama.
Shout out to his mama. What's up, mama?
Hi, everybody.
Jesse, thank you for coming on the show.
I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for that little piece that you just played for us. It was fantastic.
It just brought so much energy to the room.
Yeah, exactly. I even the Boricua influence. You know what I mean? Talking about. Tell us about that, man. You lived in New York.
It was the reggaeton.
The reggaeton and everything.
That's what I was hearing everywhere.
Okay.
I was going to school for sound engineering in the city. I was living in Bushwick, and so the music was like, you know, it was on the streets as soon as I stepped off the subway while I was in class. You know, there were all these beat makers, guys from Queens and Brooklyn and all over. And it was a moment in time for me, you know. I was like, okay, this is my life right now. And so, yeah, I guess I wrote about it, you know.
I guess I wrote about it.
Yeah, I was lucky, you know, I was lucky to have the experience. And, you know, it's cool. I'm happy to have the song now, you know, because it's like, it's been a couple years, you know.
It transported me there, man. I was there with you. I'm walking down the street. I got guys, hey, papi, yelling at me, giving me high fives and shit.
Can I just say how amped up I am right now?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because you start playing, you start going, it's like, whoa.
You're ready to do a concert, dude.
I had to just let
But
everybody
you
know.
just did a line, you know. Like, whoa,
No,
let's do this.
that's, I don't do that anymore. Actually, it's funny. Well, first of all, before we get onto that, I had a question. What the heck is in that cup?
It's a protein shake. It's like blueberries,
Protein shit.
blackberries.
It's a protein shit.
Yeah,
Some protein shit. Yeah, I'm gonna take it later.
it makes me think of like the orange julep. You know, they have the orange juleps. Like, I love the taste of the orange julep, but I'll never look at it again. You know, I saw it once and took the lid off. I said, "Oh, Jesus." You know, put the lid back on. Some lids aren't meant to be open.
You know what it reminds me of?
Remove.
You look like you're a tobacco chewer from fucking Texas and you're spitting in that cup the whole time. Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it's
right.
really gross. You guys have a point to say that.
So you gave us a little breakdown of how that song came to be, the one that you just played for us. What's the title? I didn't get the title again.
East River.
East River. Yeah, I heard it. I totally skipped my mind.
If my brother and Zach and my sister Jenny were here, you'd know the title because in the song they're the ones who say it.
East River.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
I like that too. That you put your siblings on that.
They're all over the new record. They were on the last one, and the truth is that they're the true singers in the family. They were both born with these, you know, beautiful voices, and you know, I was there singing in the back, and I remember my dad looked at me one time. We were singing some, I don't know, like Third Eye Blind song where I was having having one of those moments.
Yeah, just a
Music's
jam
up.
out session.
And they look back at me and they're like, "Jess, come on, what are you doing back there?" I said, "What?" I mean, I was a kid, so when I started writing songs, I said, "Okay, well, I guess my brother's got to sing them." You know, we actually wrote our first song together. My brother's name is Zach Creatchman. How do you know him?
Well, I'm part of the Montreal castings, and there's a couple of groups on Facebook. And your brother had posted he was looking for crew members. It was a couple of times. I remember I reached out to him. It was for a COVID compliance officer position.
Okay.
So I reached out to him, but there was like maybe 10 other people that reached out to him. So I didn't get it. But I remembered that name distinctly. And even like when Alex told me I have Jesse Stone, he'd like to come on the show. And I saw your last name. I'm like, wait a minute. I know that last name. So I checked Creatchman and I see Zach. I'm like, okay, you guys look the same too a bit.
Do we? We get it both
Yeah.
ways. You know, some people are surprised. Once they get to know it, I think once you get to know somebody, you see them a certain way. You know, like, so like how you perceive them is part of how you see them in a strange way. I don't know. Point is if you know me and Zach, you know we're brothers.
So that's how small this city is. All it takes is one person to introduce it to the next, and then somehow you know somebody else that's related to him or somebody that works with him. And that's what I love about this city, and that's what I love about this podcast, because it just brings everybody together. You know what I mean?
It really
it's
does.
perfect.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful table to be sitting at.
Yeah,
Zach's an incredible actor, singer, director. He's been working as an AD for the past couple of years. He directed a film called Home. It's a short film. It's on YouTube.
On you.
And yeah, and I actually did the sound production, the post audio for that film, which was cool. So, and Zach's been bringing me in actually, like onto sets here and there.
That's great.
Yeah, you know, I love working with my brother, and I have some experience in sound engineering as well. Like I got for my song Pennsylvania. It starts off. I booked a gig in Strasbourg, Lancaster County, but the gig wasn't a music gig actually. Confession, it was sound engineering gig.
Okay, booming.
You know, we boomed this. I boomed this feature film. It's called The Cold Trap. Yeah.
What's the story behind the Cold Trap?
Well, the story behind the Cold. I mean, I only you know heard all the audio. I didn't read the script, but I could tell you there's this guy who rolls up in this small motel in Lancaster County, which is where Pennsylvania, you know, which is where you got the clip-clop horse and buggies, the Amish
town.
folk.
Yeah.
We were staying at the hotel for a motel for a month, and they would come to barter for use of the pool. They would bring spices, you know, to the owner. And anyway, so the premise of the Cold Trap is this guy. He lost his wife. He's having visions in his motel room. He's losing his mind. The the other characters, you don't know if they're in his mind or not. You know, I'm actually excited because I spoke to Chelsea, who was the director and the writer, and the film's been in post-production for a while, so I was like, what's going on, you know? And so they said, well, because I wrote this song called Pennsylvania about something that happened to me while I was down there with them, because the film wrapped, everyone took off, and I stayed in Pennsylvania for a minute.
Some debauchery definitely happened.
You know, you wouldn't think looking at those golden, you know, the sunshine coming over the hills, but I think everywhere's got... it's not about the hills. It's about the people and the stories that are going on. Small town America. I'd never been out there before. What are we talking about?
Pennsylvania. We heard the record. I saw the video too.
No, you saw the video?
Very James Bondish. The way you were there in the middle. You got the model doing her thing.
Lavender May. She's a burlesque dancer.
Burlesque. Yeah, that's what it was.
Dances at. I mean, before COVID, you could have seen her at the Wiggle Room and. I don't know all the burlesque joints in Montreal, but yeah, I met her in studio. She was hanging around, and yeah, I was super thrilled to have her dance on the green screen. You know, on the green screen. We built this green screen room during the pandemic. It was kind of like it was a studio. You know, we did a lot of work over there, and so having her, you know, working with her was I felt very blessed.
And the song itself, what's the song about? Because I already know the lyrics.
I booked a gig in Strasbourg, Lancaster County. She chained me to the bed frame as soon as she found me. I was laying there delirious when it started to get weird. Should have known what I signed up for before I volunteered.
How much of that is true?
I mean, I write what I see. I write what I see. I write my experiences.
So you got chained to a bed. We know that. We know you got chained to a bed in Lancaster County.
Sounds like a good time
symbolic?
to me.
Is it a metaphor? Who am I really talking about? You know. No, it was, yeah, it's, you know, the funny thing about writing these songs is, you know, when you get asked about them, you got to go kind of, you know, you got to go personal a little bit.
Yeah. Or you just make up some metaphors. You're like, you know what this means? This
I
means
tried
I was
my
breaking free.
I tried my best to tell my stories the way, you know, the best way I knew how, which was as a writer, you know, gives me a chance to collect my thoughts a little bit. And, what I can say is, you know, it's a true story. There's just, you know, we just tell it with style.
Exactly, a pocket of embellishment here and there, but it's basically what it was, guys. He just made it sound a little better since he made the song, and he's got to be entertaining for you. So he's got to make it rhyme. He's got to make it sound good. He's got to put the couple of elements of flash on it, and there you go. You got a nice track there for the people, man.
So I had written this song called Passenger, and it's kind of. Kind of got this doo-woppy, you know.
Well, the moon is full and the car's driving crazy. Revving and adjusting down Jitterbug Parkway. Wearing out the treads, chasing down the dark, grooving to the rhythm of the spark.
I write a lot of different types of songs.
I love that. Everything I'm hearing from you. I listen to everything that I can find on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, can we find your stuff on like YouTube, Spotify?
It's there. It's online. I got one full-length album.
Radio's Dead is coming out.
Radio's
right?
Dead is coming out. It's
Yeah.
coming out in November. And it's been a long... Hold on a second. I was playing that song for a reason.
Okay.
The reason I was playing that song was just... I was in studio, I had that song, and there was like a conversation that was going on about like what the song was about, right? And I was like, oh, it's about this girl I met in Pennsylvania, you know? Oh, yeah? Like, what were you doing down there? I said, well, I just separated with my wife. I was, you know, a fish out of water in New York City. I didn't have anywhere to go. I slept in Washington Square Park for a couple nights. It's a beautiful park, full of rats at nights, I'm telling you. And they don't let you sleep there. Anyway, I linked up with a couple of people I knew from Montreal who were in New York. And they were going to this acting school. And they asked me, they said, look, we got this film. We just had a crowdfund, some crowdfunding success. Do you want to come make it? And I said, okay. So they said, it's a month out in Pennsylvania. I said, I got nowhere to go. I got nothing better to do. I said, I'm in, you know. I went down there. Long story short, I met the motel manager's daughter, and we hit it off. There it is.
She got you in. She acquainted you in.
Yeah.
Very
Well, I
nicely.
mean, it's all there in the song, you know. If you want to hear about it, it's called Pennsylvania, and it's out by the time this podcast comes out.
Exactly. It's gonna be out right in time for it.
Yeah, I was. It was kind of like this zany story that. I mean, when the production wrapped, I stayed there. So, anyway, I managed to get out, but it was a close call, and because it wasn't the healthiest place to be.
Mm-hmm.
To be straight up with you, and yeah, it was kind of the start of a journey. I went back to New York, and I found a place in Bushwick. I wrote that song. It was, anyway. So to jump back, I'm telling this is the story that's going on in studio, and they're like, "Yo, write that song, tell that story," you know, because like I kind of covered it up.
Okay.
To me, I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
You know, I knew what the song meant to me. I knew the story, but I wasn't willing to share it because I had to go places that I hadn't really gone before in storytelling.
Yeah. You weren't ready for it until you decided, you know what, I'm ready to tell this story.
Well, I'm not, I don't want to, I didn't make this record, I didn't play this record safe.
Mm-hmm.
I took risks, and I stepped outside of my comfort zone. So in the end, it told the story.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
As far as the album that you're working on right now that's coming out, Radio's Dead, what's the backstory on that? I already know the title says it all, Radio's Dead. Pretty much like we've had this conversation over and over again, and we do not listen to the radio.
Well,
Radio's dead.
Well, you guys started a podcast, so you're already you're ahead of the curve.
We're on YouTube, guys.
Whoa.
On
made it.
demand. On demand.
Mama, I made it.
Yeah.
So
I love
Radio's dead.
podcasts.
Radio's dead.
Radio's
Give us the backstory on that, man.
Well, it's highly autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you heard, I guess, talking about a couple of songs here, East River, Pennsylvania. After I was in New York, I came back to Montreal, and I ended up, I tried to put this, like, I wanted to put the greatest band, anyone ever heard of together. And we did some shows, and I ended up touring through Ontario and Quebec, and I hit the road. And, I was doing that full time, a few hundred shows. And then I started recording the album. I had these songs, I had these stories. I didn't really, I wanted to do something kind of like conceptual, you know, but I didn't really know what it was yet walking into it. Well, you know, that's, as I say this, I'm going through the songs. I'm like, okay, well, the East River and then Pennsylvania and then Ticket Past the Limit, which is, you know, all the trouble I was getting into on the road and trying to keep this record, you know, trying to get this done. And life started to get a little debaucherous. So that kind of comes with the territory.
Yes.
And I wanted it to get debaucherous. I wanted to go down like tunnels.
Look, you're in the rock. I'm gonna say rock star lane right now, right? You're making music. You're performing live. You got the instrument. I totally feel you when you want to go down that lane because you want to experience everything that comes with it. You know what I mean?
You know, sometimes being a musician or a writer, you're left to your thoughts, and that can be dangerous. Yeah. You know, thinking about why you do certain things. I mean, just as an artist, you know, I think everybody has these questions, humans. But I just wanted to push it a little further in terms of my experiences. You know, and it was like in dedication to my writing, to this, you know, to what I could create. I really wanted to make a great record, and I wasn't sure how to do it. I went to school for audio engineering, and I went to, I took my time in terms of deciding who I wanted to work with or where I wanted to do it. So. You know, I ended up in the studio in downtown, and I was meeting a lot of interesting people. We were busy. I ran into a lot of artists, like along the way, which is nice. And you know, and I wrote about that. There's a lot of snakes in the grass. I'll just say that.
In every industry.
In any industry, there's a lot of temptation. You know, there's in life. In life, as you journey down the path, there are offerings. You know, there are points of intersection or two paths. Or one path diverges in the forest.
You got to make a choice.
So I wrote about the studio where I was in. I wrote about you know, pushing it a little too far. I wrote about playing in bars. I played in Montreal. I played in a bunch of pubs, and one of them was Honey Martin in NDG.
Honey Martin, very nice place.
So, it's a beautiful place with a lot of history. You know, shout out to the Griffin Boys.
As far as venues in Montreal, I think you probably played every fucking venue out here, dude. You've done hundreds of shows.
I'm still waiting for my call. The Bell Center.
The Bell Center next, coming up. You did all.
I want to do the Habs game though. That's what I want to do.
Do the national anthem.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what they usually do. I think. Yeah. You bring out a singer to do national anthem.
I don't know. They'll probably, if I ask them to do an original, they'll probably, you know.
Maybe, you never know. You never know. But I know, like I mentioned, you did shows all over the city. Pretty much every venue that I can think of that's prominent. You played there. I checked your bio, did my research. And you also did that show in Saudi Arabia for a ceremony of an opening ceremony for something. Did a show down there, Saudi Arabia, with some Juno-nominees.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, man. How was it in fucking Saudi Arabia? Because that place is boiling, apparently. Unless you went at the right time. I don't know.
Oh, I'll say this. My grandfather's a cantor. Was a cantor for years in a synagogue. And my family's like half French Canadian, half Russian Jews. And he actually sings on my album. 80 years old. It's his first performance on the first song, When She Hollers, because it's kind of like this klezmer kind of tune. Yeah. Anyway, just to say, like, I never thought I'd see the Red Sea from Saudi Arabia, if you know what I mean. Like, it was just, you know, what an amazing opportunity. A lot of people were like, "You're gonna go?" You know, I said, first of all, I'm gonna rock and roll. Like, I'm just, like, I got into this into music. Well, I didn't get into it to see the world, but it's one of the things that I'd like to do.
It's a benefit that comes with it. You get to
perk.
travel the world, see it, performing music at the same time, maybe getting some money too. Why not? You know what I mean? You're not gonna just play music and say, I don't want to leave the park over here, and I just want to play at Xororó Park every day.
Yeah.
No, you want to see the world. You want to experience it. You want to see what comes with it. Also, you mentioned something that you were a little iffy about going to Saudi Arabia. Is that because?
No, just because people were, raising up the politics of the situation, and I get it, But everybody there was imports. They don't have the production to put on like big mega shows. They don't have the infrastructure for that. Yeah, they have he's a young king who's in there now, and I guess they're trying to, what's the word? Well, they're bringing in, more arts and attractions. They had the Dakar Rally. It's the biggest race, the biggest like derby or off-road racing. So rally. Racing.
So that was the opening ceremony for?
Yeah, that's what we got booked
racing.
for. Was they brought it? I think it started in Northern Africa, and then they were doing it in South America, and they finally brought it to Saudi. And we got hired to play the opening ceremony. Now, I was playing a show opening up for this guy, Jack Broadbent, who's an incredible slide guitar player from the UK. He's on the record. Amazing. The guy's been like, he's a good friend. And he booked me to open for him. We were playing at La Stral, and Don Tyler Watson was in the audience. Shout out to Don Tyler Watson. And she saw my performance and she said, "Hey, you want to come on I got this gig. There's an extra slot if you want it." Jonas, Tomalty was on the bill, which was super cool because when I was a kid in high school, we were listening to Jonas songs, Jonas and the Massive Attraction on Shom.
Okay.
So it was nice to go with him and Angel Forrest, who I love. Angel Forrest, she's an amazing rock singer.
We got to check out all these people. Like,
yeah.
I know Don Tyler Watson, junior Juno nominee and everything. So when I saw that right now that you told me that she chose you to come along, that's big, man. That's really. It's not like your manager hooked it up, put you on it. Somebody got to watch it, see your vibe, see the way you're hitting these notes and everything, playing the guitar, and they're like, you know what? I want this guy to open up for me or play alongside with me on opening ceremony. That's really nice. You
want to come rock and roll me? Yeah, let's go rock and roll.
Like, how is it? Like, yo, let's rock on, dude.
Yeah, it was a cool show. They had fire on the stage. They're shooting fire up into the air. So I was like, all right, cross that one off my bucket list.
Nice. What's the country itself like? Did you get to experience it a bit, or you went
really.
there and bounced back?
I was talking like one of the stage managers was from Jordan. He was talking to me about Jordan. He said, "It's a good time. You got to come out there, play some music." It was nice to go out with Don and Angel because Angel's got this fiery red hair and she's a statement. And Don, which is, first of all, just having two women on stage to, in Saudi Arabia, I think that alone is
that's big. You already know the issues they have with women's rights down there. The fact that you get to see two females rocking the stage in Saudi Arabia, it's a feat. It's an achievement.
This isn't a compliment to their legal system or anything, but you can pretty much leave your stuff lying around anywhere, which
I don't think anybody wants to get their hand cut off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
So you got that. It's a very safe place that you won't get your stuff stolen. How's the weather? The weather was it what I was saying, that it was super boiling?
Like
California weather. When did you go though?
We were by the water. So.
Okay, so you got that at least, cooling you guys down a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a short. I mean, it was a whirlwind trip. I think the whole thing lasted like eight days. I think we were, it was quite a ways away. But yeah, it was a great show. They had the Cirque du Soleil and all these gymnasts and different types of like visual artists performing at the same time. They had
Nice.
people hang. It was like the Olympics. They had people hanging from cranes doing dances in the sky. It was quite an opening ceremony.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think they had they wanted to make a statement.
It looks like they did, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you have, like we mentioned, Radio's Dead's coming out November.
Mm.
What are the plans to promote it? What are you gonna do? Any more touring in the works? Are you going back to New York? Maybe going out to Pennsylvania, rocking that song in Pennsylvania?
They're playing it at Penn State as on Monday. I'm excited for that.
Penn State football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Nice.
Well, radio.
Okay.
But, yeah, football.
Football. I know Penn State football. That's
It's
what I know.
primarily a university. I think that's the first.
Penn State University.
But no, I got some gigs coming up. I'm playing a show on November 27th, and I think it's okay that I mention this right now. It's Billy Bob production. It's a Bob Dylan tribute show, which I'm excited about. Don's actually on the bill, and so is Leela Baum from The Damn Truth, and Pat Creef from the Deers.
Nice.
So that's going to be a big show. I'm also doing a show with Vinyl Hero.
Vinyl Hero.
Vinyl Hero. They're some friends of mine. I'm assuming they can see me if I look at them this way or that
You
way.
can see you there.
Vinyl Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the
Ray
Damn
Tibbers
Truth,
and Costa.
The Damn Truth. I've heard of them. Very good. What was that second band you just mentioned? It was it was Damn Truth. And you said one of the Deers.
Pat
The
Creef?
Deers, dude. The
Yeah.
Deers too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Deers are great, and Pat's got his own great career as a.
I gotta listen to everything. Like I gotta admit, I'm not too into the indie scene.
Mm-hmm.
I do listen to almost everything I could get my hands on. It just I don't know where to look.
Well, Montreal's got great bands, and they've got some good, strong
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure, I think. But the truth is everybody's kind of in their bubbles nowadays. That's one thing I've noticed. I'd say that I never know what people are listening to. I know these people personally, and playing music in the city, and when I looked up to a lot of them. I still do. And they're working musicians, and they're doing it their way. During the pandemic, I mentioned before, I built a green screen studio.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just as a pandemic thing. Like I got sober.
Okay.
Like halfway through making this record. Because I needed it. It was clear that I had basically, I wasn't gonna finish the damn record unless I cleaned myself up.
You needed to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something you needed to have done for you.
Exactly. And what was my points again?
We're talking about the record.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about that you needed to do this for yourself. You had to get clean.
Yeah.
You built a green screen studio.
Oh yeah. So that was one of my meditations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I stopped gigging for a minute. I said, no, I need to just take some time and sort things out. So I built this green screen studio. It was just before the pandemic struck, and so when that happened, we're like, what are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna? There's nowhere to play. How are you gonna promote yourself?
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna lean online, which is I think what everybody's doing.
Everybody's online right now. Everybody's online. Even right now, you're coming onto the podcast. You got something in the works for an acoustic video session too. So the ball's getting rolling again, man.
Yeah, man.
Now it's getting rolling. November's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
The plan was to start promoting around November.
Well, I want to get the album out. I've been saying November for a while, and it's my choice. It's up to me. I mean, I'm excited to get it out. I just got the masters back, and I sent them to I put it like a stream together. I sent it to some of my friends and my family and stuff. So I was really excited to share it, and I want to put it out. However, like as my means of promoting this record, it's really to lean into the songs, and we've been making lots of videos. I've been working. I think there's a lot of work that you can do with video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a lot of
visual is important. Visual, I need to see something while I listen to the music sometimes, guys.
So we got this music video out with Lavender May, and I'll just say Rene de la Muerta plays guitar on Pennsylvania. He's on the video, but holy cow. does this guy bring it to this song? So we got the music video out. We're doing a lyric video. I talked to Chelsea from the Cold Trap, and she actually sent me the footage because I was like, it's been in post. Maybe I can do something with it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cut together like a 3.5 minute Cold Trap movie, and as a kind of second video.
Cool. Yeah.
And then I got the green screen room. We're gonna keep going. There's lots I want to do, because each song on my record tells a story. And I think like, well, how people tend to take things in visually nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything's got to have, well, I can listen to it. But what am I going to look at in the meantime?
I want to have the option to have both. I want to either watch the video, listen to the song at the same time, or if I'm busy and I can't watch the video, I want to listen to the song. Give me both options. Also, when you give me a video, a lot of people are visual. We like seeing visuals. You give me a video, I'm more intrigued. I'm more in tune with it. I want to watch it. You know what I mean? I want to watch it again and again because it's so good. But if you just have the song, you're missing out on that avenue. It's an extra group of people that could be listening to the song, watching it. So I think both are very important. You need to have both.
Yeah.
The song it's already a song. You have the song, it comes out, it's all audio. Then you just got to take it that next step and give it a visual treatment. Yeah,
and I like video as a medium. I love films.
Yeah.
I love watching films. I've been watching films forever. That's like the main thing me and my dad did. He would push me to go for runs and get exercise, and then we'd be watching films. We'd be movie marathons growing up. And my brother, I was saying, also works in film. He started off as a theater actor, and then moved into film. I've got some experience in film, so it was kind of natural. I mentioned Vinyl Hero before. We recorded a music video for them. They did this great cover of Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
Okay.
And we turned the green screen studio into a beating heart, and they're playing inside the beating heart. And it was pretty cool. There's you're working with different people with different specialties, and so there's plenty of personality to keep you entertained.
There's one other thing too. I read you had these, I don't know, your song called "The Fisherman," that was remade in Portuguese or.
Yeah, so I got what is it? It's like a horseshoe. Is it good luck to have a horseshoe up your ass?
Yeah, horseshoe up your ass means good luck. Okay. My mom says that all the time. I have a horseshoe up my ass.
What means bad luck though? Because like for me, it's kind of like depending on the day. It's like, oh, Jesse's got a horseshoe up his ass, or
black cat crossed the road.
Black cat crossed the road. Exactly.
No, that's just bad luck in general.
Yeah. Shoot, what was your question again?
Fisherman.
Oh yeah. Talking about Fisherman. So in this case, this was a kind of what do they say? I don't know. I'm rambling, but it's like preparation meets opportunity is key to success. How many of these can I think of before I answer your question? I'm still thinking about him. I was when I was in New York, I had I wanted to do a launch for my first album. It's called Break of Day. And Fisherman was a song on the record. Also, my brother and sister sing on that song.
Okay.
So I put a post out. No, I went on Craigslist because I needed a guitar player for my launch. And this Allison Lima answered me. Allison's from Brazil. He's a musician. He comes from a musical family. His father's like
Grammy,
his
Grammy
uncle.
winner.
Yeah, they're well-known act in Brazil, folk, which is a bit more of a niche market in Brazil. It was very cool to meet him, and he was in a band, and then he was out of it. And he said, "Oh, I'm gonna move to New York for a little bit." He had his wife and his kid, and then he said, "Okay, probably."
Twiddling his
going, I want to play some music, because he's an artist himself. He can't help it. And so he puts a post on Craigslist, and that's where I find him. And we hit it off. We were both kind of on a similar journey. Like there's a parallel, I think. And when he went back to Brazil, I guess he had the hookups, and he got signed to Universal, and then he And then so I got an email from Universal Music Brazil about my song, and Allison had given me a heads up. And yeah, he translated it to Portuguese.
Sick.
Yeah, they released it. It was I was officially a songwriter, you know. Notch that on my belt. Thank you very much.
I wrote a Portuguese song, guys.
I was gonna say like, oh, to all the haters, but there really weren't too many along the way. I've had a lot of support from people. I really value mentors in society. You know, in my experience, like there's been many people who have encouraged me, and you know, which has helped me get through my own inner battles. Yeah, and have opened doors, you know, along the way, taken their time.
Support systems are needed in every walk of life. I think that if you have somebody in your corner going to bat for you, always checking in on you, making sure you're doing good, you're golden. You know what I mean? You need that.
Sometimes it's fleeting though. Like there was this guy, Jason Lewis. He used to do open mic. You know, he used to gig in McKibbin's in the West Island. He was one of these pub guys playing music. And I was in CJEP at the time, and I had been writing songs with my brother. And he was a friend, my good friend James Lewis. He was his cousin. James and I played in a band at the time. Shout out Joyride. and you know, Jay, I guess I met him at a house party or something, and he was into what I was doing. And he was into my brother, like, you know, what we were doing together. And he encouraged me to come to the bars. He was putting me on stage. He was giving me advice. You know, he sat us down a couple of times. So you guys could do this.
He saw the talent, man. He saw the talent.
You know, these little things happen throughout your life. It's hard to, unless you're writing a diary, you know, to like, but I hadn't talked to Jay in like at least 10 years. I saw him at James's wedding. You know, and he was so happy to see that I was, you know, still writing songs, that it was my life, you know, that I poured, that I had made it my life, you know, and so like, I don't know, it was touching. It was touching to talk to him about that, and it taught me too, like just that interaction, you know, it made me appreciate it, because maybe for a minute I wasn't recognizing these things for a while. You know,
sometimes somebody has to tell you. You have to have it from the outside in. Somebody has to just make you aware of what you have, of what you've accomplished, of what you're doing in life. And
before I cleaned up, I had my head up my ass even more than I do now. And I think, like, you know, I wasn't in the business of burning bridges, but like sometimes you don't think about
you don't realize it.
Your actions have consequences, and the way you treat people is, you know, don't expect to be treated differently than how you treat people, you know?
I think this is a perfect segue to, you have to pick up that diamond right there, that gem, put it in your hand. You're gonna drop a gem right now, a piece of wisdom for the up and coming musicians, people that are in a similar situation like you. Bestow some knowledge on them. Tell them what they can do to better their career. What they should do to better their hustle, their game.
What should you do? What should you do? What should you do?
Or what you shouldn't do.
Either the.
What should you do? Surround yourself with good people. You know, if you're a songwriter like me, the key is in the writing. You know, they say people don't listen to lyrics, you know, but you hear lines, you know, in music. And I think, like, for me, what I took my time on this record. I took my time, you know, making sure that I was telling my story the way I wanted to tell it. You know, for me, the key is in the writing. You know,
I mean, be true to yourself.
I'm not in it for the business. Sorry, I'm in it for I'm in it for the songs. I'm a songwriter. You know, collaboration can be difficult. You've got an ego, I've got an ego. One of the hardest things I had to do in this record was swallow my ego, many times, over and over. It took a couple of years to make this thing. And once I've put faith into other people around, once I've chosen who I'm going to put my, not a blind faith, but who's...
You gotta trust the process, man.
Mm-hmm.
And, put it, if you're working with people that you can trust, then trust them,
That's very important. Like we mentioned it earlier, when you're working with somebody and you both are on the same page, trust the guy to do what he's there to do. Like you can't micromanage everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I find burns a lot of bridges is when you're supposed to be that guy that's, hey, let's say you're singing or you're the guy playing the guitar, but then you're trying to put your hand on every single aspect of this song, like whether it's production wise, whether it's the beat, whether it's let people play their positions.
Yep.
And everything will go smoothly. Just give everybody a fair shake, you know what I mean? Everybody has their position to play, and it's best that everybody plays it without somebody obstructing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I overthink stuff.
Overthinking, that's exactly it. Sometimes it's just you're overthinking too much. Don't overthink, guys. Just let it be as simple as it should be.
Don't break your heads.
Yeah, don't break your heads. This is also since we're about to sign off right now, the last episode of the Hustle Podcast, episode 23. But I think we need
finale.
We need to sign off with Jesse playing another fucking tune.
Oh,
Give us one more, Jesse. Give us one more.
All right. I'll play Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hit Pennsylvania. So this one is coming out in November. Or it already
this one's already out.
Already out.
So if you want to catch that music video with the lovely Lavender May, that's Pennsylvania. You can find it on YouTube. But you're gonna hear it right now.
I booked a gig in Strasburg, Lancaster County. She chained me to the bed frame soon as she found me. And I was laying there delirious when it started to get weird. Should know what I signed up for before I volunteered. Cleared out of the city as soon as the axe fell. Fresh out of my marriage when I checked into the motel. Working night times at the titty bar, days she gets me high as a kite, and if I want it, she lets me. Pennsylvania. We spun to a cornfield, rolling like a haystack, running over scarecrows in my used Ford hatchback, leaning the seat back, giving the belt slack, ready for the extract, letting the lips smack. She said she'd be my sugar mama, offered up a dower, started giving me head at 80 miles an hour. One hand on stick shift, one in the back seat, rear down on the front lift, 9.5 weeks. Willie in the hand drive, talk about a sex drive. We were heading for a cliff, we'd be taking a nosedive. Well, fuck it, this time I'm getting what's mine. She's smoother than Oxy, still just a proxy. New York turned my heart into her trademark. Pennsylvania, and I ain't got no reception. Pennsylvania, thank God I wore protection. I'm stacked up and ready, she's taxing me steady without representation. Gotta get the hell out of Dodge, better kick the clip clop. We're tipping for a spill. And like a pony to the ceremony, Circus Freak's a ringmaster. She's breaking conventions like a walking disaster. My time's worth as much as the skin off my knees, cause my body's numb and this room came free. New York turned my heart into her trademark. New York turned my heart into her trademark. Pennsylvania, I got a friend in the Keystone State. Pennsylvania, I wipe that apple off my plate. I'm stacked up and ready, she's taxing me steady without representation. I booked a gig in Strasburg, Lancaster County. She chained me to the bed frame soon as she found me.
Pennsylvania, out on YouTube, Jesse Stone Creatchman. Salute the Hustle Podcast.
Welcome everybody.
Y'all ready for this?
The Hustle. My name is Steve Aramopoulos, and these are my co-hosts.
And I'm Tech Luciano. You may have heard me on radio, you may have never heard of me at all, but that's okay.
Y'all gon' learn today. Your whole life was a struggle, had to make it out the jungle. This is a show for you. Welcome to the hustle, under pressure never break a fold. Keep chasing your goals until you blow. Now, welcome to the hustle. Take money, make money, build a future forever. Even in stormy weather, we execute for treasure. The grind is real, you know. Got the willpower, Terrence Howard, hustle with flow. Rain, sleep, or snow. The odds against me for sure. I kick down them doors when they close. A sharp shooter of motivation that leave bullet holes. We're in the zone.